My name is AbdulMalek Baitulmal, originally here from Tripoli, Libya, where I'm based at. I have a background of bachelor degree in telecommunications, where I studied in the electrical and electronics engineering department in the University of Tripoli. So my way or my journey in quantum actually started when I raised this question as that can I really defeat a big barrier, which is we are lacking most of the quantum information science resources in my country. And so I started tackling one barrier at once. And, I found that the quantum Twitter community was such a help, just to go from 0 to 100 real quick in just a few months. So at that point in time, going from not knowing anything about quantum computing up to the point to simulating Shor's algorithm. And if you could actually recall, back in 2019, there wasn't not that big of these online MOOCs, the online workshops about quantum, the summer training programs, where they teach the principles of quantum computing as we have today. A lot of quantum resources are out there. I found that I knew the power of the quantum community that is stick all together across the world globally. So the global quantum community actually helped me throughout my bachelor degree thesis. That's where I started, getting to know who is doing what globally. And, 1 month after another, I got to know Farai Mazandu, which back in the time, he invited me to the first or the kickoff session of OneQuantum Africa. And by that time, it was specifically the missing piece of my story, where I know some people personally from the quantum ecosystem or the global quantum community, but what I was missing is that something that I could really relate on, which I found that missing piece, which is a community that gathers the quantum enthusiasts across the continent, Africa, or as we prefer as Mama Africa. So that personally was a huge quantum leap for me, and specifically not knowing that much from the region, these quantum enthusiasts, but with the continuous weekly meetings in our OneQuantum Africa weekly meetings, I got to know a lot of people. I got to know, we got to bond with African enthusiasts as I am. One thing led to another, and here I am today, president of OneQuantum Libya, which back in 2 years I wouldn't never have imagined that I will be actually leading a quantum community, actually, in not just leading a community by some words or just organizing some events, but actually reflecting of what is going on globally, and how is the global quantum community is developing, or if I could just use the word neutralize. Okay, so we just reflect on the global development of the communities, and we started working on professionally building the quantum community here in Libya. So prior to OneQuantum Libya, or even OneQuantum Africa, We already started, doing some kind of, community workshops. These workshops, we introduced the word quantum, but the missing piece was still missing, is that we were just talking about quantum. Power of OneQuantum gave us, directly a connection with the world. So nowadays, events that we organize, we start to tackle down the community issues, which gathers in the industry people. We gather businessmen. We gather governmental institutions all together. They speak the one and only language that we speak, which is quantum, which basically at the end of the by the end of the year 2021, we've seen a huge development by means of at the moment the tech community here in Libya. They hear about OneQuantum, at least, if not personally, they heard that someone is actually organizing some events, and even business leaders across the country, they started to engage one after another, just to understand really quantum Libya, and that being tackled by young people. Before OneQuantum Libya and after. Before that, basically the business leaders, the companies, the enterprises in the ICT sector, they used to see our community as as not well matured young people. They were just talking about some fantasies about quantum computing. But since I started working in really putting into work and gathering the industry people all together, they started to see that, hey, there's a guy that's called Malik, and he's actually connected to this global network of professionals, global CEOs, the industry, the quantum industry leaders globally. So when they start to see that point of view, the whole thing has changed. Even for my own startup that I'm working on, I'm actually co-founding at the moment. Everything started to change. They don't see me as an individual who has some fantasies or some future dreams of just talking about quantum or delivering quantum services. Some questions were raised before I joined OneQuantum. One of the interesting questions was like, how old are you, and how are you basically gonna teach us about quantum if you haven't learned all about quantum globally? So when I present myself, even in business talks, that I'm a president of OneQuantum Libya, which is a local chapter of the global organization OneQuantum, which exists globally across all the continents. They start to to tweak their questions a little bit, which is specifically, how can we leverage your power, your global network, towards really building a robust business relationship? So that's in principle all about me, my OneQuantum journey, what happened before and what is happening at the moment. What has changed is just a quantum leap. We can actually normalize that on maybe, I'm not quite sure about my vision, but almost like 70% of the world that we're talking about that has the same issues of Libya, the lack of awareness. Even if they have some academic institutions that teach quantum information science, but there's still this huge gap in the business mentality. And when I say business mentality, and I don't mean you just invest You get that in like the return on investment. No, I like the whole quantum transformation process, like what kind of problems that you have in such countries. And I personally believe that the global success of quantum, it depends on the local success in countries like Libya, because when quantum gets this, like this, the quantum boost in countries like Libya, you can have that in any small country, small economical country, if I could say that, if that's even valuable, like is that even valid to say? But yeah, we try to tackle things. I try to see how the world is emerging towards the NISC era, and still suffering a lot with the type of mentalities that we have in our the board members in these big companies that we have here in the public sector. It's it's sometimes frustrating. Yes, I'm not here trying to give a positive speech that all things are going well in the quantum journey. No, it's actually 99% are failures. 99% of the conversations, they tend to go in the wrong way. But sometimes you only need that 1% of a successful conversation, like amongst 100 conversations with business leaders, you just need that one conversation, okay, and that could actually open open very big doors that you wouldn't have even imagined that you can get into that organizations using that door. At the moment, like in the meanwhile, quantum is still developing. The Libyan digital transformation, digital transformation plans are still, at their first stages. So sometimes I'm like, so do I push more? Do I spend more on developing a quantum ecosystem, or do I sometimes just play it, play it smooth, play it fluently until the ecosystem emerges by itself, or at least some of the issues would tackle themselves by itself. That I don't know sometimes how problems can actually go away. You can't just push them. You can't just maneuver some barriers. Need to see how things get boiled up. So yeah, I still have some conflict about that. One thing I would love to mention is that the power of building a community. A lot of those business leaders, a lot of those in academia, they don't tend to give this attention to the power of the community. You cannot ever build some use cases. You cannot ever, if I could just say, slip in some new technologies within an ICT ecosystem or the ICT industry. So you can't just do that if you can have the environment of that. One reason why the community building is very important is that many business leaders, they don't like you, they don't like it when you actually approach to them from the business side. So sometimes I go like I use the power of the community. We organize events, and generally just inviting these business leaders, and then they have this friendly talk. Okay, so they loosened up. They don't have this pressure that they have a special business meeting, business talk, where they just need to take some few information from you. They don't need to hear all about what are the social impact of quantum technology. So you actually get you change the mindset by using the power of community. And that's basically what OneQuantum is doing globally. It reaches everyone the elders, the young people, the people in academia, industries, business. They just started speaking quantum. This is the environment around me, and like sometimes even people that I don't really know, and they just look at me like, you're that one quantum guy. You're that quantum guy. So it's like, so you know about quantum. So it's like, I don't really know. I just know that you speak about quantum technologies, that they are the future. And how can you specifically spread the word if it's not using, like, leveraging the power of community?